Caregiving can feel overwhelming. Some days feel impossible. If you're caring for someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, we want you to know this. You are not alone. There is help, there are resources, and there is hope. This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers. Greetings and welcome. This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, the not-so-sexy podcast, episode 103. I'm Jeff Edwards, your host, and I'm very happy you've joined us today. What does dementia, a mother, a daughter, and the game that transformed their lives bring to mind? I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, I'll tell you by asking you a question. How old are you today? This isn't just a book title, it's a real-life story that introduces a simple relationship game that was created by Glenna Hecht and her mother that helps caregivers and families stay connected even as memory changes. It's practical, human, and something people can actually use. We'll be talking with Glenna today, and I think you'll find our conversation quite interesting. Or maybe we'll say eye-opening and encouraging. And to make it fun, she wants to give you a free gift. More on that later. Plus, more from the Alzheimer's Association's Facts and Figures report. And today you'll hear about prevalence and caregivers. And of course, we'll hear from Dr. John Huffaker in What's New with Alzheimer's, another listener question answered. Okay, so let's get going. We've got a lot to cover. We are proud to be supported by Neuropsychiatric Research Center, a clinical trial center dedicated to advancing research and treatment for memory loss and Alzheimer's disease. And the fine people at Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, nationally acclaimed, award-winning home care. And Live Younger Today. Activate your stem cells for health and vitality. You can check them out online at liveyoungertoday.com. If you're new here, our 5 tenets or rules are the backbone of what we do, and they're easy to learn. 1, you must take care of yourself, because if something happens to you, who is going to take care of your loved one? Number 2, you can't do this alone. You need help. Find a good caregiver group. Number 3, make a list of people, friends, relatives, or coworkers who have offered to help, then actually use it. Number 4, create a help signal. Identify a cue or phrase to confirm your loved one is comfortable with receiving help from someone else. And number 5, caregiving. Love it or hate it, it will be your life until it's not. So give it your all. Up next, a very interesting conversation with Glenna Hecht as we discuss her new book, How Old Are You Today? And a game to play.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Your brain is who you are, your memories, your personality, your life. At the Neuropsychiatric Research Center, they're committed to helping you protect it. If you're 50 or older, you're invited to our free memory screening event where you can learn about a breakthrough in early Alzheimer's detection, the p-tau 217 blood test. This cutting-edge test may detect Alzheimer's-related changes earlier than ever before, and is offered only to eligible participants based on screening results and family history. Why call? Because a quick confidential memory check can give you peace of mind, help you establish a cognitive baseline, and connect you with research opportunities that could change lives, including your own. Call Neuropsychiatric Research Center, located in Fort Myers, at 239-939-7777 to schedule your free memory screening today and see if you qualify for the p-tau 217 blood test. That number again, 239-939-7777. Your brain matters. Let's protect it together. The p-tau 217 blood test is available only to participants who meet eligibility criteria determined during screening.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Glenna Hecht, speaker, author, consultant, daughter. When her mother was diagnosed with dementia, Glenna didn't ease into caregiving. No, she was launched into it. She searched everywhere. Books, certifications, support groups, but nothing showed her how to truly relate as her mom changed, became frightened, or drifted further away. until a simple, unexpected question unlocked a lifetime of stories and transformed their final years together. This is the story of the How Old Are You Today game that turned heartbreak into moments of hope, joy, and true love. Let's find out. How old are you today? I should tell everybody I have on the phone with me Glenna Hecht.
Yes, you're saying it perfectly.
Good. And I have to be honest with you. When I opened your attachment, I thought, okay, well, she sent me the book. I'll print it out, read it when I can. So I looked and I say 174 pages and I groaned and I go, oh, there's no way. But I opened it up and the font was big and the chapter's short. So I said,
right.
All right. So I made my way through a couple of chapters, and by late Friday night, I was hooked and finished the rest of the story. And it wasn't a book, it's a story, which I found quite interesting, and I enjoyed it. So I looked at it, and I'm going, I just went through this whole book in a very short period of time. And I noticed you didn't hold back. You made the reader be part of the story. So that's a connection. Because
thank you.
My biggest question to you is, how old are you today?
Today I feel like I'm getting younger every day. How's that?
That's great.
Yeah. The reason I say that is because I'm committed to learning something new every single day. And I learned that from my mom. And because of that, it keeps you young.
Can you share what type of dementia your mom had? Was it Alzheimer's?
She had vascular dementia.
Oh, okay.
She had vascular.
Okay.
And I didn't know anything about dementia, as you saw from the book. All of a sudden, one day, she was diagnosed and the doctor said, I think she has dementia. And the look on my face was absolutely blank because I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
One of the tenets I know of your podcast is the understanding that dementia is not something that you fix, it's something you face, which you saw that quote in my book. Because I thought she could take a pill, right? In a couple of weeks, it would go away. And obviously 9 years later, I learned that was not the case. So It was an absolute journey and a story, no doubt.
How did you come up with the game process what you're going through?
There really wasn't a process. It was a land on it based on a question, but let me take you back a little bit.
Good.
And that is my history in terms of what I did for a living was heading up human resources for some large companies. And if you know about HR people, we're fixers. So my thought was I could fix her and spent 2 years trying to do that. I went to support groups and research. I even became an assisted living manager, and none of those worked. And so the gut punch, Jeff, first really that was in Dallas was when I lost my cool and realized what I was doing didn't work. So I went home, crawled in the closet, cried myself to sleep, and said, if I can't figure out how to fix this, I'm going to be the best daughter that there is. And it just means being present. So fast forward about a year later, I walked into her assisted living community. It's a chapter in the book. You know, the facility was wood paneling and linoleum floors and kind of sad and dumpy. And mom was flirtatious and young and posing and talking about how she loved the beach and the sand and the sun. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's dying. But if this is what dying looks like, it's pretty amazing because she was joyous and happy and younger and really appeared to be extraordinarily in the moment. So for quite some time, I thought, I'm going to get back to the beach. And I would go to see her, and every time I would say, are you at the beach? And she'd say, no. End of conversation. And then I'd say, are you 22 years old? And she'd say, no. End of conversation. So finally I gave up, and I said to her one day, I forgot, how old are you? And she looked at me and said, guess. That was the beginning of the game. So I would ask her questions to try and determine her age. And in the beginning, fumbled because I would say, are you 70? And she'd get insulted and look in the mirror and say, do I look that old? And I would say, of course not. And eventually I realized that the game had rules and ways of interacting. And that is also something that I included in the book. And that is to really watch their presence, watch their countenance. Because with dementia, they time travel. So I was able to look at her, and some days she was much younger in countenance, and other days she appeared much older. She was slouched over. So my guesses about her age were a direct reflection of what I observed. And I would say to her, "Are you 60?" And she would look at me and say no. And I would say, "Are you older or younger?" And she might say younger. And if it looked like she was quite a bit younger, I might say, "Are you 30?" And we would eventually land on an age. That was the game. And what was so interesting about it was I could ask her questions about her age at that time. Where are you? What are you doing? Are you in the house? Have you talked to your sisters? And we would communicate at her age at that time. The lessons that I had to learn were a fewfold. One was, if she was 50 at that point, she imagined I was the age I would have been when she was 50. So imagine the woman sitting next to her is just somebody sitting next to her. I'm not her daughter. I'm just a person. It's a kind and nice person having a conversation, but her daughter was quite a bit younger. So I had to learn how to time travel with her and had to learn what the rules were to play the game correctly. She didn't have memory before, she didn't have memory after, but she was stuck in a time. And here's what was so interesting, Jeff, is that your listeners will appreciate this. Doctors say to them, meet them where they are, but nobody tells you how to do that. And so the game allowed me to land on the answer to that question and to be able to interact in a way that met her where she was. And it became what we played for 7 years until the very end, quite frankly. And she lost her sense of being able to communicate verbally because of her swallowing. So we played the game by squeezing each other's hands. Squeeze one for yes, two for no. And it became more limited, of course, because she didn't have the capacity for verbal communication, but we were still able to carry on a physical conversation, and it made us feel close to each other. Honestly, the day that I saw her and she passed away that evening, she was 19 days shy of 100 years old.
Wow. How long a time was she in that? Was it a short time span or some longer? I'm curious about that, because a lot of times we hear about a moment of clarity, I guess is a way a lot of people talk about it. People will say, my wife can't communicate, she doesn't, but all of a sudden they have a 45-minute conversation and then it stopped. That's what people want back, because there's a communication. Now, you were smart enough, and I would say there's got to be some luck or guidance from above to realize that this is a way to communicate. And what you said just a little bit ago is that you got down to her level. And I mentioned about the ex-governor of Wisconsin with his book, My Two Elaines. And that's one of the things I learned from him. He said, you can do all these things and you can try to make them adhere to your schedule as a caregiver. But he realized after doing all those things that maybe he's going about it the wrong way. And he changed. He got to her level and started to communicate while she could at her level. And it made a major difference in their relationship.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things, and it was very difficult for me when I was in the trying to fix her stage, I would go to support groups. And yes, the caregiver is critical. If we burn out, then there's no support for them. So I appreciate what all of us are going through when we're caregiving, but we're not the ones with the disease.
Right.
I wanted to make sure that I took care of me, but that I also took care of her, and that for however long she was going to live, that it was going to be the most joyous relationship I could find a way to have. That was my commitment. And it didn't happen immediately, but over time, I realized that if I'm present, I just observe. I'm a very, very good listener, and I can see things that are around me. And I noticed that she was different ages and places every day. And so I thought, just go along for the ride. I refer to it as time travel, and it is an opportunity to meet them where they are. So to answer your question, sometimes it was 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour at that age, and she might doze, and then she would wake up and be someplace else. And so I couldn't hold on to that time frame. I learned that when I had the experience at the beach, and I would want to go back there, and she would look at me like I was crazy, right? Because she was someplace else. Mm-hmm. So every day I played the game trying to figure out where she was. And very rarely did she repeat the same experience. It was older, younger, etc. You may remember there's a chapter in the book when I went to see my mom, and she was sitting and looking out the window, and she was absolutely lucid. And that was the day that she said, I know my world is getting smaller. I can feel the box closing in. What's going on with me? And that was probably one of the most difficult, gut-wrenching times, because you want to shield them from what's going on, but you need to tell them the truth.
Right.
And we had that conversation about her having dementia and at what stage she was at. And the hardest question I've ever had anyone ask me, I think in my entire life, was, am I going to get better? Is there a cure? And having to say, no, not at this time. And unfortunately, the medication that you could take, she was just too old. I remember how difficult that was, but how important it was for me to be honest and candid with her. And, I've said this many times that the How Old Are You Today game was truly one of the greatest gifts of my life. It allowed me to learn about my mom during a time when most people don't have that experience. Mm-hmm. We had an enjoyable time together. We laughed. I learned things about her. But also, I moved to Dallas because we had a difficult relationship. And just imagine, over the 9 years that I was a caregiver, it was joyous, it was loving. And the moment that she passed away, and I had to say goodbye to her, there was absolutely nothing left unsaid.
It's fulfillment for you and fulfillment for her.
I'll share something with you that is interesting. There was a point when I wondered if the game was only meant for me, right? I had found this thing and it was giving me great joy, great peace. Our relationship was wonderful. The caregiver said that whatever I was doing with her was keeping her alive, and they didn't see that with other people. And I would guess that the only difference was I was playing the game.
Yeah.
And they would ask me, can you teach me this? Can you teach me that? And so I finally started to say to myself, is this only for me, or will this work for other people? But you may recall at the end of the book, there are stories where I shared this with the facilities, with the people that were on the team. But probably one of the most profound was a very good friend of mine who was dealing with his father, who was in his 80s, had dementia. I saw him one day and he looked just exhausted. I mean, he could barely keep his eyes open. You can tell when somebody's really stressed. And I said to him, we're supposed to meet about business, but let's talk, what's going on with you? And he shared that his father had pain and they had taken him to multiple doctors. No one could find anything wrong with him. And not only was it exhausting and time consuming and expensive, it was just frustrating. They didn't know what was going on. And I said to him, are you willing to try something that may seem a little crazy? And he said, Glenn, I will try anything. So I wrote down the questions to ask and we role played, and I said, pretend you're him and I'll ask you. And he's like, okay, I'll try it. A couple days later, he called me and he said, my father was stuck in a groove. He was in his mid-50s, and at the time he was in his 50s, he had heart trouble. So just imagine, in your head, you're an age that you're not in your body, but your head is recalling the things going on in your body, because the game isn't living as a memory, it's living as being present, right? So I'm not remembering 55, I am 55.
Yeah.
And he was feeling what he was feeling at that time, which was heart trouble. So my friend said to me, why don't doctors know about this? And I said, because they don't, right? It's not what their specialty is. It's not what they do. I said, I've landed on something that I hope will be remarkable and help many, many people. And so I'm trying very seriously to get the word out, because this gives grace and joy in a time in a relationship that's very, very difficult. That's why I wrote it with really big type and easy and a quick read, and tried to make it a story that people could relate to.
Are there steps or rules of the game?
In the middle of the book, there are 2 chapters called The Art of the Game and The Rules of the Game. This is how I describe it. So when you're learning a game, whether it's basketball or mahjong or whatever, you learn the rules first. And then once you master the rules, then you start to learn, okay, what am I going to do to win the game? And that's the art of the game. You study your opponent. You think about, how am I going to fake them out? How do I show up? And so that's the way you play most games. And it's the rules first and then the art of the game. In this game, it's reversed. And the art is more important. The art is how you show up. Because you don't know who you're going to meet that day. You don't know what mood they'll be in. You don't know what age they'll be. You don't know if they'll be sleeping. You don't know if they'll be cranky. You really don't know who you're going to meet when you go to see them and be with them. And so how you show up, the art, is way more important than the rules. And you may recall that the art of the game was being present. It's not about you, meeting them where they are. And then the rules of the game are related to watching their eyes, touching their knee, letting them lead. One of the things that I wanted to communicate to people is this is really about how you choose to be every time that you visit your loved one. How do you want to show up so that it's the best experience for you and for them? And then once you're there, observe, be present, watch the clues that are given to you, and then to ask the questions that can help you determine what age they might be.
Very well said. I don't know what to say at this point because I'm still enthralled by what you've done and the communication. You reformed a relationship with your mom with this technique, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. I know that this has worked for people that have various types of dementia and Alzheimer's because they're reporting back to me, right? They're telling me what they're doing and how they're using it. And it is creating interaction, which is extremely positive. So it's really about patience and presence and interaction and watching. And so many times when we're interacting with people, we're looking at our phone or we're thinking of other things. We're not really present. And I think the game was, for me, all about, if you're going to visit her, be with her. And it was just an extraordinary experience. I'll share with you when I was first launching the last September, and I did a number of launch parties and book clubs, and I had people raising their hand and saying, do you recommend I try it? And I said, of course. I said, the worst thing that happens is in the moment it doesn't work for you, and then you try it again and it does. But as a caregiver, I would have tried anything. And that's what I think most caregivers do, is they say, give me something to do that'll help fix this issue. It won't go away, but it could be much more pleasant and a really joyous interaction, which was what I was very blessed to have. So I'm trying to get this out there in a huge way. And I don't know if I've mentioned to you what my goal is, but I am looking to get this in the hands of at least 200,000 people and to donate 30% of proceeds, or at least $2 million, to dementia Alzheimer's research.
Wow.
So I have a very large goal to make a difference. Absolutely.
Yep.
And I know that this will help people, and anything that helps the caregiver and their loved one move through this with grace and with dignity and with some joy, to me, is a gift for everybody. So that's why I'm so committed to sharing this and getting the word out there.
It is a great idea and a great way to go. Where can people buy your book? Online?
Oh, thank you for asking.
Oh, definitely. That's the last question.
They can buy it anywhere books are sold, but they can certainly get it on Amazon in both paperback and ebook, and other bookstores as well have it electronically. And I'm excited to share with you that I just recently found out that it won through the International Impact Book Awards for health and dementia.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
I'm very proud of it. Yeah.
You should be
proud of it.
Can they get it on your website?
Absolutely.
And what is that?
HowOldAreYouToday.com.
Good.
And I also have a gift for your listeners, and I will share with you a QR code that they can go and review the podcast and then visit the website and have a free gift, which is related to what we're talking about with the 5 rules my mom lived by and rules of the game. I would love to share that with your listeners and wish them the best. Caregivers are my heroes. And the hardest job that I ever had in my entire life was being a caregiver. It is hard. You are my heroes. Don't give up. Know that you're doing the best you can with the information that you have. And every day is about putting one foot in front of the others. I would give caregivers the advice to say to them, give yourself grace, certainly to try this game, as I know it can give a tremendous amount of peace, and that you are doing the best you can.
That's excellent. Thank you for that. And thank you for your time today. Very much appreciated.
My pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed this time with Glenna. As to her gift to you, we will include in our podcast description a QR code that you can scan, follow instructions, and fill out the form and then retrieve the gift. And don't forget, her website is howoldareyoutaday.com. When we come back, more facts from the Alzheimer's Association Disease Facts and Figures Report, Prevalence and Caregivers.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Every day, I talk with people who say, I don't feel as sharp as I used to. My energy is low. My memory worries me. Hi, I'm Peggy Sealfond, board-certified health coach and caregiver. I share patented science-backed technology supporting your body's natural repair, helping improve sleep, cognition, and vitality. Learn more at liveyoungertoday.com. liveyoungertoday.com.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
The Alzheimer's Disease Facts and Figures, an annual report released by the Alzheimer's Association, reveals the burden of Alzheimer's and dementia on individuals, caregivers, government, and the nation's healthcare system. You can go to alz.org yourself and look up this whole report. And we're going to go through a couple things. We've already talked about the quick facts, but here's prevalence. The number of Americans living with Alzheimer's is growing, and growing fast. More than 7 million Americans have Alzheimer's. An estimated 7.4 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's in 2026. 74% are age 75 or older. About 1 in 9 people age 65 and older, 11%, has Alzheimer's. Almost 2/3 of Americans with Alzheimer's are women. Older Black Americans are about twice as likely to have Alzheimer's or other dementias as older white Americans, and older Hispanic Americans are about 1 and 1.5 times as likely to have Alzheimer's or other dementias as older white Americans. People younger than 65 can also develop Alzheimer's dementia. Although prevalence studies are limited, researchers believe about 110 of every 100,000 people aged 30 to 64, or about 200,000 Americans in total, have younger onset dementia. As the size of the U.S. population age 65 and older continues to grow, so too will the number and proportion of Americans with Alzheimer's or other dementias. By 2030, all members of the baby boom generation, those are Americans born between 1946 and 1964, will be age 65 or older, the age range of greatest risk of Alzheimer's dementia. By 2060, the number of people age 65 and older with Alzheimer's may grow to a projected 13.8 million, barring the development of medical breakthroughs to prevent or cure Alzheimer's disease. Those numbers are just staggering. How about we skip to mortality and morbidity? Alzheimer's is not just memory loss, Alzheimer's kills. I don't want to depress you with that. We'll do it another time when I'm in a mood. Okay, we're going to skip over to caregiving. Now listen to this. 83% of the help provided to older adults in the U.S. comes from family members, friends, or other unpaid caregivers. Nearly half of all caregivers who provide help to older adults do so for someone living with Alzheimer's or another dementia. Now, who are the caregivers? Nearly 13 million Americans provide unpaid care for a family or a friend with dementia. Now, this care is valued at $446.3 billion, more than 17 times the total revenue of McDonald's in 2024. About 30% of caregivers are age 65 or older. Approximately 2/3 of caregivers are women. More specifically, over 1/3 of dementia caregivers are daughters. Most caregivers, 66%, live with a person with dementia in the community. And approximately 1/4 of dementia caregivers are sandwich generation caregivers, meaning that they care not only for an aging parent, but also for at least one child. 41% of caregivers have a household income of $50,000 or less. And 59% of dementia caregivers report feeling high to very high emotional stress. Alzheimer's takes a devastating toll on caregivers. Compared with caregivers of people without dementia, more caregivers of those with dementia indicate substantial emotional, financial, and physical difficulties. Of the total lifetime cost of caring for someone with dementia, 70% is borne by families, either through out-of-pocket health and long-term care expenses or from the value of unpaid care. We're coming back with What's New with Alzheimer's with Dr. John Huffaker.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
If you find that it's time that you must start looking for a good home care company for your loved one, I'd like you to consider talking with Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, a nationally award-winning company. They are top of the line in service. They will tell you service is their passion, excellence is their promise, and that's the honest truth. They are very knowledgeable and skilled at what they provide. On top of that, they are just really nice people who love helping others in need. They are Alzheimer's and dementia and Parkinson's care specialists. You can find them on the web at hbmhomecare.com, or you can call them at area code 239-603-6455. And you'll find a link for them on our website, gutpunch.com. Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, your best choice for home care.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers. What's New in Alzheimer's with John Huffaker.
Okay, John, from Nancy P. in New York. She says, I'm a caregiver for my husband. He always fights me about taking a shower or a bath. Why is that? Do they become afraid of water?
Good question, Nancy. And the first most important part, no, not necessarily afraid of the water. What can happen is there's a lot of stimulation going on when you take a shower and a bath, and that sometimes can be a lot. Especially when somebody, I assuming as a caregiver, this person's probably a little bit more advanced in their dementia. It's the act more than it actually is the water. A couple of things that you can do for individuals like that is want to create that routine. Routine is very important. You're probably already doing that. But the other is I've had one patient that they're very connected to their dog. So when they go in to take their shower or bath, they take their pet in with them, not actually into the bathtub, but they take them into the bathroom. They now know, okay, it's time to go in there with their dog. And it's part of, they've created that routine. It's a good thing to establish, and it just can be a little bit more of a challenge. You just have to hang in there and try to work it out any way they're willing to do it and keep repeating.
That's actually a pretty good answer because I didn't know, and I hear it all the time, people saying, what do I do? What do I do? So thanks for that. We'll be back with a look at our resources. Our resources are very important. If you're not sure where to turn or how to connect, we'll be here to help bring you trusted resources. Reach out to the Dubin Center at thedubincenter.com. And then there is Neuropsychiatric Research Center. Find them at nprc-swfl.com. And Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care at hbmhomecare.com. You can check out the Alzheimer's Support Network at alzsupport.org. And to find your local chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, you can visit their website or call their toll-free hotline at 1-800-272-3900. They also offer an outstanding resource called Dementia Care Navigation, powered by Ripple and the Alzheimer's Association. Now, it provides free personalized dementia care, including a dedicated care navigator and tailored resources for caregivers and people living with dementia. You can get connected by calling 855-271-2662. That's 855-271-2662. We also mention the guide program frequently. It's another excellent resource that provides help and respite care, and it's free. You can search for it online or visit Dr. Perry's HealthSpan Partners at healthspansouthwestflorida.com. Another resource worth checking out is Aquilane Clinical Research at aquilaneresearch.com. And here's one, Alzheimer's Support Network at https://support.network. Our website is gutpunch.com, and the email address is gutpunchedac@outlook.com or jeff@gutpunch.com. And thank you to each and every one of you who has taken time out of your busy, stressful day as a caregiver to give this a listen. We truly appreciate it. You're helping to grow our podcast and its impact for caregivers. Thanks for joining us. And if today gave you even a little hope, hold on to it. God bless.
This has been Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, with your host, Jeff Edwards. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to us on all the platforms, like Spotify, Apple, Pandora, Podbean, and more. If you have a question or want to get in touch with us, our email is gutpunchedac@outlook.com or jeff@gutpunched.com. Caregivers, you don't have to do this alone.
I've been gut punched by the weight of that call. I've been gut punched when you don't know me at all. I've been gut punched as your memories fade away. Yeah, I've been gut punched. I wish there was another. That hollow feeling deep inside when the doctor says the truth. No cure waiting on the other side, just time we're gonna lose. But I won't run from what's ahead. I won't let you fall apart. Even when your mind lets go, you'll still have my heart. Now it's slipping day by day. You're losing pieces of your world, and I'm begging them to stay. If the day comes you don't remember me, it breaks me in two. But I'll still be right here, like I've always been for you. I know it's not your fault, it's this disease we fight, but you're still my everything that will never change in life. I've been gut punched, yeah, it cuts me to my soul. I've been gut punched, watching pieces of you go. I've been gut punched, but I won't let you face this alone. Even when you're lost in the dark, you still have a You were a gift from our God above, still the best part of my life. Through the worst of all these days, I'm still grateful you're my wife. We didn't choose this road we're on, but I choose you every day. Through every broken memory, I'm not walking away. You gave me love that built this life, and a daughter to carry your light. I can feel you still inside, even lost in this fight. And when the world you knew is gone, and nothing feels the too. No, I won't forget, not a single one. I still choose you. You're still the one.